I'd like.
She's an author, a lecturer, and now a teacher. Meet Adora Svitak.
I go flying fingers, dancing fingers.
At 12, she's the world's youngest teacher, and she already boasts job satisfaction.
It gives me a lot of power and it gives me a lot of freedom because as a 12-year-old, I'm able to be the world's youngest teacher, but I'm also able to present a kid's eye view to other teachers.
This is second nature to Adora.
Well, maybe you could elaborate more.
She's been on the road to success for years, writing and lecturing.
With writing, I can express myself really and share my ideas and just let my thoughts flow out.
She's an internationally published author with her own class of eager students. It seems this kid has found her calling.
Like most kids, my ideas changed a lot, and now I think that I have a more firm idea. I mean, I could always become a doctor or a lawyer or something, but I think that teaching and writing is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
And Adora joins us now from Seattle in the United States. Good morning, Adora. How did you get into teaching?
Well, thank you. Good morning to you. And that's an excellent question. Well, I would say I got into teaching. It started with the publication of my first book, Flying Fingers, Master the Tools of Learning Through the Joy of Writing. After I published my first book, I thought, well, how can I speak to other kids about why this is important? And so I started going around to local schools and sharing why reading and writing was so important. But I realized that there were some limitations to that. I could only visit a few schools at a time, so I started video conferencing, and I reached over 300 schools so far through video conferencing. And so teaching is something that has really begun with my first book and has expanded.
Adora, now you conduct most of your classes via video conferencing. I hope this question is as excellent as Rebecca's. Do you prefer this method to actually being in a classroom, or are there advantages to this method?
That is an excellent question. I'm sorry I can't think of a more creative adjective, but, video conferencing, what's interesting is that it allows me to reach out really anywhere in the world. So I'm able to go, for instance, to Costa Rica or to Dubai or to another state in the U.S., and that's really liberating, whereas I would have to jump on a plane and go to those places. So it allows me to reach many different areas. However, the cool thing about being in a classroom is that you're able to have that face-to-face connection with students, so there are pros and cons to both.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Adora, this question is going to knock your socks off. Teachers often struggle to win the respect of their students. How on earth do you achieve this as a 12-year-old?
Well, I would say that one thing is that a lot of the students I've had have been very good students. They're usually really dedicated to learning. But another thing is that part of being 12 years old is that when they see a 12-year-old come on and talk to them, they're a little bit surprised, and I think that that catches them. And then thirdly, the content that I present, I think, is usually very captivating and interesting. If students aren't interested, they might be more likely to make trouble, but I'm hoping, keep them interested, and definitely being a little bit surprised by the fact that I'm 12, but also that the presentations usually get them involved.
Adora, this question has been voted Best Question 2010 Australasia region by a panel of experts. Seeing you're teaching not only other kids but adults as well, do you still feel like a kid?
Do I look like a kid? I'm hoping so, because you'll find the answer there. Yes, I do definitely still feel like a kid. You can ask my parents about this. Anytime I ask for a second portion of ice cream, I think can attest to that fact. The only things that make me maybe different from other kids is that I'm a couch potato when it comes to watching news. But other than that, yeah, I still feel like a kid. I enjoy running around, causing havoc. I guess I'm kind of like a kid in all the bad ways, in that I cause lots of trouble sometimes, but I definitely still feel like a kid.
Fantastic. Adora, the intellectual explorer, it has been a pleasure to chat with you this morning. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you, and by the way, my books are still looking for a publisher in Australia, so just getting a little plug in there. Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Super duper.
She is clever, isn't she?
Yes, indeed. Not only smart, but canny.